What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, thinking about talking about, is there a chance that the New Orleans Saints could be the NFC Champions? So let's see what they have to say about that.
I can't take the Saints against the field because especially of those two teams, but there's some others on the outside, Seahawks with Russell Wilson, especially the Niners and the Packers. I can't take the Saints against the field.
I can, and I'll tell you why I can't. Because of Drew Brees being back, Michael Thomas, Ted Ginn, Jared Cook, Josh Hill. So you've got guys you can pass the football to. You got an offensive line that protects him. You have the brilliance of Drew Brees, knowing defense, being a master in terms of reading defenses, going through his progressions, seeing what coverage he's got to go up against. You got a running game in Alvin Kamara once he gets back, along with Latavius Murray, who's filled in admirably, and a defense that showed up on several occasions throughout the season when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback for the team.
So a lot of those qualities that you see in Drew Brees, I see in Aaron Rodgers, definitely, because Green Bay's balling right now. I see those in Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's balling right now. Seattle's balling. And the San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, their defense is definitely holding it down. I'm still kind of iffy with Jimmy Garoppolo right now, even though they're 7-0 and running on full steam right now. I'm still kind of wary with him, but that defense, as we know, defense wins championships, so that kind of covers up whatever issues I would have with him. So I don't know. The NFC, it could be anybody's championship at this point. So let's continue.
When I look at it from that perspective, of course, I'm paying attention to the absolutely elite defense of the San Francisco 49ers. Nick Bosa is something special.
Possessed.
This brother is special. I get it. They get after the passer. They make it easier for their secondary to cover.
Yeah, and let's not go over Nick Bosa so fast. Nick Bosa is an absolute beast. I knew he was a beast, just like his brother coming out of Ohio State. But this dude is just completely going out of control. I mean, wouldn't it be something if he won Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and then he won a Super Bowl with the Niners? Could you believe that? Can you believe that if that would have happened? That would be out of control. You talk about cleaning house in the awards department? Jesus Christ, it's like the trifecta. So let's continue.
I get that. Although I consider them to be somewhat susceptible to the run. Green Bay, without question, is susceptible to the run. And Dallas and Philadelphia have both revealed themselves to be problematic in certain respects. Minnesota is a team that you pay attention to, but Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. So when I look at it, I'm not saying that the New Orleans Saints can't get knocked off, but if you're asking me who has the better chance, the Saints or the field, I would tell you the Saints. Go ahead, Ryan.
So I don't know at this point. Like I said, it's really tough because there's a lot of great teams. I think I have to wait later on into the season to see who I would pick, who's going to win the NFC, because I need to see what the San Francisco 49ers, they play Green Bay in about, 3 or 4 weeks. Seattle plays San Francisco in 2 weeks? And I think San Francisco plays New Orleans, and did I just say that? I think they play them in a couple weeks. So New Orleans and San Francisco play each other. Green Bay and San Francisco play each other. Seattle and San Francisco play each other. So somebody's going to go out there be a loser. I think once we get to that point and we see whoever wins those games is going to be the front runner and probably going to win the NFC. And one of those games I just mentioned is probably going to be the NFC Championship game because all these guys are balling right now. I can't even call who's going to be doing what because Aaron Rodgers came back this year, balling out of control. Russell Wilson always doing his thing. Jimmy Garoppolo kind of coming out of doing this, not really doing his thing, but showing that he is a competitor in this league. And Drew Brees always doing his thing. So there's a lot of heads in here really balling right now. I don't know who's going to win the NFC. So let's continue.
You gotta listen. I've been on the Saints since they beat Dallas because I watched this team continue to progress defensively and find ways to win as Teddy Bridgewater got more comfortable and Sean Payton really showed that he was worth that 5-year extension with the way this offense continued to click without Drew Brees. And now when you see where this team is, Drew Brees comes back. He starts off a little slow and not necessarily in production or success. He was going short pass. Michael Thomas, using who right now may be the best wide receiver in the league, and you didn't even
I agree with that.
have Alvin Kamara. So when you look at this team, they are atop the NFC to me. but I don't know if you remember this movie, Max, but when Frank Dukes was in the Kumite in Bloodsport and he was trying to get to Chung Lee, right? We all knew at the end he was going to get to fight Chung Lee, but it was about getting through every step and every phase of that tournament. That's what the NFC is like. You don't want to play the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson. You don't want to get the Minnesota Vikings if Kirk Cousins is clicking the way he has 3 of the last 4 weeks, with Dalvin Cook maybe being the best running back in the NFL right now. Who wants to play the San Francisco 49ers? Probably the most schematically creative run game I've seen in the history of football is what the San Francisco 49ers have. They have a guy.
So I don't know. That might be pushing it a little bit too much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Who's going to be maybe not only the rookie defensive player of the year, but the defensive player of the year in Nick Bosa, a back end that's.
Let's not forget he might win the Super Bowl too.
Playing exceptionally well and getting better every week. And then you move over to the Green Bay Packers, who to me, the defense isn't as good as people were making them. They're not as good as maybe Aaron Rodgers was making them earlier. But now Aaron Rodgers is getting back to being who he was. And so though you want to say that the Saints are the best team, I don't know if you go any given Sunday in a certain arena, in a certain place, and you say the Saints beat all of these teams. No, they get them in the Superdome.
I fully agree. I'm sorry I didn't mean to come off so early, but I fully agree. You don't know who can do what on what Sunday with all these teams right here, because these teams are stacked. I don't even know who I could pick that would win the NFC. And like I said, it might just boil down to who was the best team that week. There's nothing that you could just indefinitely or precisely call that this team is going to win the NFC, because they're all stacked. So let's continue.
It can be scary, but these teams are so good.
Especially when the Niners, based on the record so far, probably are the best team.
Yeah.
Like, I like the Saints a little better for what you guys said, but I'll give you another movie analogy, Ryan. Game of Death. Bruce Lee, he might get kicked down the stairs by Kareem, but in the end, he's going to get to the top level.
Right.
Let me tell you, though, in the NFC, Bruce Lee is Aaron Rodgers, not Drew Brees.
Well, you don't know that because.
Hey, I bet you, Ryan Clark, you don't remember Game of Death. I bet you probably wasn't even born when Game of Death came out. I bet you don't remember that. He just giving him a little courtesy smile like he remembers that. He don't remember that movie. But let's continue.
It's been a while since that's been the case with Aaron Rodgers. That's number one. And we all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. But understand when the question is being asked, Saints or the field in the NFC, how I interpret that question to be. Who's my favorite? Mm-hmm. Of course, there are other teams that could be knocked off. But if I had to bet my money on one team over the rest, who would that team be in the NFC?
Favorite.
And for me, it's the Saints because, again, I point to Tom Brady. We look at Tom Brady over 40 at age 42 or what have you. We look at his brilliance as a football player and his ability to read through defenses. The fact that you can't surprise him with anything. There's only 2 guys in the NFC that you could say, to a lesser degree, Russell Wilson. But it's really about Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees when it comes down to that element, that ingredient to success. And I'm saying when I think about how formidable San Francisco's defense is, it's not just their athleticism. It's not just their football ability. It's their intellect. The fact that, I know Sam Darnold was on the record talking about he thought he was seeing ghosts when he went up against New England. Right. But Kyle Allen, if he was Mike, probably was saying the same damn thing yesterday. He didn't know what was coming his way. And I'm saying to you, that's not going to be Drew Brees. That's not going to be Aaron Rodgers.
When you watch.
So look, if we're going to talk about what quarterback can match up best against Tom Brady, I'd probably there's really 3 of them. It had to be Drew Brees. I would put against Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers. I put against Tom Brady because he would beat Tom Brady, didn't he? If I recall correctly, I think he got his only Super Bowl win against Tom Brady. I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, okay? Don't quote me. So I have Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson can do it too. So I don't know. There's a lot of guys that the NFC is really doing good this year, and it's anybody's game. That's what I said. We're going to have to wait for a couple of weeks to see once all these teams play each other to see who's the last team standing, because it's a dogfight right now, and they're all pretty much neck and neck, even though San Francisco is 7-0, but these teams are balling. So let's continue.
NFC.
When you watch the San Francisco 49ers play, they don't have to trick you. They got dogs up front, whether it's Armstead, if it's Nick Bosa. All of these guys come at you in ways.
Well, how do you feel about New Orleans up front? How do you feel about New Orleans' offensive line is what I'm asking you.
I think
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, guys. So Aaron Rodgers did not beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady lost the Super Bowl 3 times. He lost 2 times to the New York Giants, Eli Manning, and 1 time to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry. It's a brain fart. Don't call me on it, okay? I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. So let's continue.
Offensive line is good, but if you watch Drew Brees yesterday, Arizona was bringing pressure. He understands how to get the ball out. He understands how to attack these things, and he has a guy in Michael Thomas who, when you throw him the ball, it's either a catch or an incomplete. He doesn't allow pass breakups. He doesn't allow interceptions, but even in that, I think the Saints are the favorite. But when you look at the difficulty in playing some of these teams, if the Saints, who already have 1 loss, somehow don't manage to get home field advantage, and the game against the San Francisco 49ers is out west, it's in the Bay, I believe that becomes a different game. And so, though I do think they are the best team, and for many reasons that you said, Stephen A., the number 1 reason being Drew Brees. That's why I was putting this team as the best team in the NFC, even when Teddy Bridgewater was quarterbacking, understanding that Drew Brees would be back.
Don't forget.
But still, every week, every time I watch these San Francisco 49ers, they show me something different.
And don't forget, look, we, like every season, and this season it was the NFC North, we point to some division. That's going to be the best division in football. What's the best division in football? By far. It's not
NFC
close.
West.
The NFC West is by so much the best division in football. It's embarrassing. The Cardinals are the weak team in the NFC West. They got 3 wins. The lowly Cardinals got 3 wins. Otherwise, you're talking about the Niners, the Seahawks.